In this episode, Auditor Audit is out working with a colleague when the police show up after a resident reports someone suspicious simply because he didn't look like he belonged. Despite doing nothing wrong, officers fixate on ID, ignore his rights, and unlawfully detain him. But Kerno doesn't back down. He takes them to court, wins big, and even gets some of the officers fired.
Is that your badge number?
Well, I hope it is.
Let's
take a photograph of it, please.
Yeah. Just wondering. I've got to prove it. Obviously, I don't know you from Adam. You could be someone just who's...
Well, we're not going to do this for fancy dress, are we? Right. As my colleague explained, the reason why we stopped you is because you fit the description of somebody acting suspiciously. Right? Now, you've given a legitimate reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Right. But we need to see some ID and some proof that you are here legitimately.
No, I understand that.
Can we see that, please?
I understand that, but on another term, I have actually got human rights.
Is that your vehicle there?
Nope.
Okay. So, what form of identification have you got on you to say you're actually canvassing?
I've got ID on me, but I don't have to legally show it because I've not committed a crime.
Right.
Obviously, if you...
We've
had a phone call about suspicious males, so we need to ascertain whether you say you are, but I take it you're not going to give us your name.
I get this every week.
Verified. Yeah, but you've got to appreciate we get calls from members.
No, I understand that, but I'm doing a job, I'm paying me taxes, I'm earning money. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand, I have not committed a crime.
If you were calling us, surely you'd want us to follow it up, wouldn't you? That's why we've been sent here, to follow it up, we want to be rest assured when we leave here today that you're not up to anything suspicious.
A cop can't just stop you because of some random, unclear phone call if there's no real proof a crime even happened, and the officer saying, "I need to check if you are who you say you are." It's kind of messed up since the auditor never lied about his name at all. Plus, the auditor was just using his legal right to not show ID when there was no real reason to think he did something wrong. And UK law is super clear that you don't have to give your ID unless the cops have a solid legal reason like suspecting you of a real crime, which they never explained here. So trying to grab someone's ID just because of a shaky report from another person is risky, since it can lead to unfair profiling and cops abusing their power when no crime was even committed.
I understand it in that way, but I'm not...
If your name gives you ID, we could ring SafeStar, say, and confirm...
Well, you can ring SafeStar and you can ask them if, obviously, if you've got canvases in this area and they'll validate who I am.
And what's your name?
Obviously, I'm not giving it out.
Well, when I ring up SafeStar UK and say you've got canvases and they say
they know I'm in this office, they know I'm around here. Because we get issued to a certain area and they keep both names of the people.
So where's your ID card?
It is on me, but I don't have to show it. I've not committed a crime.
We're going round in circles here, aren't we, chap?
No, I don't mean human rights, mate. I've not committed a crime. Obviously, you're putting me under alarm and distress now. You both cover it going round me. Obviously, you're trying to say that I have to show my ID.
You're putting me under alarm and distress.
How am I?
It's our ID. We've shown you our ID. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, you're a public servant.
Instead of accepting that the auditor is right and doesn't have to give ID unless there's suspicion of a crime, they keep bugging him and even weirdly say he is the one causing them harassment, alarm, and distress, which is both ironic and kinda scary. Because how can trained cops in uniform with all that power claim they're upset just because someone calmly stands up for their rights? And it gets worse when one officer tries to excuse it by saying, "We've shown you our ID." But that's not the point at all. The real issue is how they keep pushing nonstop for his details with no legal reason, acting like they're the poor victims while they're actually the ones being pushy and harassing. And this round and round reasoning shows they can't handle a lawful refusal, which isn't just bad policing, it's straight up abuse.
Listen, chap, I may be a public servant, but I'm not your servant.
No, I didn't say you were my servant, did I?
Okay.
I said, but if you're walking around with a police uniform which gives you powers...
Stop going on about YouTube, it's like this public servant, okay? I'm not a servant, I'm a police officer.
Yeah,
okay?
Which means, but you serve the public.
I'm a police officer.
Right.
Okay. Police officer. I'm not a servant.
Yeah.
So let's get that quite clear before we start.
Well, there's no need to get angry, is there? Because now you're putting me under alarm and distress. Now I feel threatened.
The officer's saying, "I might be a public servant, but I'm not your servant. I'm not a servant. I'm a police officer." Really shows his ego and sense of entitlement, and it totally goes against the basic idea that cops are supposed to serve the public, not themselves. And by trying to separate his job from service, he's showing an inflated view of his own power and a poor understanding of his duty. And what makes it worse is that this comment doesn't come out of nowhere, but after he's already been pushing, intimidating, and ignoring the auditor's legal rights, so the tone comes off as dismissive, aggressive, and full of superiority. And in that moment, the officer isn't just refusing to be accountable. He's basically rejecting the whole principle of democratic policing. And that really hits the auditor emotionally, making the harassment, alarm, and distress he's already feeling even heavier, especially since he hasn't done anything wrong.
What, you feel threatened?
Yeah, hence why I'm recording it, just in
That's
case
fine.
any of you's trying
That's
anything,
fine.
anything cheeky.
That's fine.
I've had it before where police has thrown me on the floor for asking him, have you got ID?
So police officers thrown you on the floor?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I've asked for him. I've asked for him.
Very strange.
Well, not all coppers are legitimate, are they? Not all coppers are nice. So at this moment in time, am I detained?
Yes, you are.
What for? What am I being detained for? Have I committed a criminal offence? I've not committed a criminal offence. How can you detain me? Because then you're holding me hostage. You're now restricting my free way of movement because now you're saying I'm being detained for a crime I've not committed. I will just literally. I'll send this to me my lawyer, mate. This is going straight to my lawyer.
First things first, we're recording it.
Yeah.
Has it just picked up the word that you just said to me?
Yeah.
Right. This is your first and last warning. You swear at me again, you'll be arrested. Do you understand me?
Yeah. But I'm asking why am I being
Right,
detained?
listen to me. Are you going to listen?
I'll listen, but I want you to listen to my point of view.
Detained at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So we can speak to the caller.
Yeah.
Because as I said, you fit the description of a person seen acting suspiciously.
Yeah.
Right? Now, until we speak to the caller and fathom out what the caller says to us, you're not going anywhere.
Right. So you're detaining me against my own will from a crime that I've not committed.
This is a clear abuse of police powers, because holding someone without proper legal reason, just for looking like a person who seemed suspicious, when there's no proof of a crime, isn't just lazy policing. It's a straight violation of civil rights, and the officer even admits the whole detention is only based on what some caller said, claiming the auditor has to stay held until they figure things out. But that's not how the law works, since you can't detain someone on a guess or a vague suspicion without solid, reasonable grounds, and under UK law, especially PACE, an officer needs actual lawful reasons to detain, not just because someone phoned in saying a person looked shady. So what the officer is really doing here is treating the auditor as guilty first and only innocent later, which completely flips the whole idea of justice upside down.
You're going to admit that now on camera that you're detaining me when I've not committed an offence?
Till we speak to the caller.
Yeah.
See exactly what the caller says you have or haven't done.
Right, but technically you can't detain someone if they've not committed a crime, because then that's holding them against their own will.
Well, once we speak to the caller,
Yeah, but
and see
now
if the
you're-
crime has been committed, then I'll tell you what's going to happen next.
So you're actually admitting you've illegally detained me for a crime I've not committed?
We haven't illegally detained you.
Well, if you've not detained me, then I'm free to go.
Tell you what, walk up there and we'll follow you then if you need to speak to you again.
But then it's harassing.
Off you go.
But then it's harassing.
It's not harassing.
No, what I'm saying
It's an
is,
illegal
if you'd
execution of
like
our
to
duty.
leave,
Right.
if you'd like to leave now and walk whichever way you like, carry on. And if I need to speak to you at a different time, I'll come after you and have a word with you.
This officer's response is really bad and shows a shocking lack of respect for the law and for people's rights, because instead of taking the auditor's real concern about being illegally detained seriously, the officer casually says, "How about you walk away and we'll follow you?" Like that somehow fixes things, but actually it makes it worse, since watching someone without legal reason is basically harassment, especially after the auditor already made it clear he wants to be left alone. And what the officer is really suggesting is a sneaky, unofficial stop, where they trail him around hoping to justify their suspicion later instead of having a real legal reason right then. And that's pure intimidation, because if the officer doesn't actually have the power to hold someone, then secretly tailing them with the excuse of maybe needing to talk again isn't just unfair, it's oppressive.
I'll just put a complaint in. I'll just put a complaint into IPCC.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because obviously you're illegally detaining me for a crime I've not committed. So obviously, like I'm going to ask again, am I being detained for a crime? Because obviously now no one's answering. If I'm not being detained for a
I'm just in
crime,
the process of speaking to your manager.
right?
If you'd like to walk away, you are free to walk away. And if I detain us a crime, I will come after you, won't I? It's up to you, sir.
I'm not going to turn me back. I'm not going to turn me back on officers so you can body slam me.
Do what you'd like. I don't think I'm capable of body
Hey, there's police out there that body slam people for the fun of it.
when he's asked for an officer's ID.
So you've illegally detained me. You call me a liar.
Accused you of calling him a liar.
Yeah, but now you've also legally detained me. So wait until IPC.
No, we're going around in circles. Twice I've said, if you'd like to walk away, walk away.
Well, just for the camera, have I been committed as a crime? Right, so I've not committed a crime, so well, you've given me permission to walk away. I'm not, mate. I'm not, mate. Now you're making lies about me. You've also illegally detained me, like I said before, when he says you're now detained. What for? What crime? He couldn't give me a crime. So he's legally detained me on the spot. He's also kept me hostage. So I do know my rights, and this will be going to IPCC. I will be sent it to Milan. I'll wait until it's all over line. I don't need the log number. I've got your badge numbers. Because I don't trust it. I don't trust the fact I can walk away with you.
I've been showing us your ID in the first instance. I don't think it would have taken this long. So when you're talking about being...
Yeah, but my right, I don't have to show my ID if I've not committed a crime or I'm on suspicion of crime. I've not committed a crime. I'm working.
The officer's comment that things wouldn't have gotten worse if the auditor had just shown his ID really shows a messed up way of thinking, because it puts the blame for bad policing on the person who was only standing up for his rights. And the truth is the auditor hadn't done anything wrong. He clearly said he was working, and he explained his legal position. But instead of respecting that, the officer acted like the real problem was the auditor not giving in, which just shows an ego issue, since the officer couldn't handle being told no. And instead of stepping back and handling it lawfully, he pushed harder and made it sound like the auditor was the one dragging things out. And that kind of thinking is dangerous because it teaches officers to treat simple refusal as an excuse for detention or even more escalation.
Just go and join benefits.
You could have less time work 10 minutes ago and you could have gone on your way then, couldn't you? So
we'll have to go so we don't have body
take the log.
So we don't body slam.
Before you get that urge.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's what I said. Free to go, Sam?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for you to leave.
I took them to a criminal court and a civil court. At the criminal court, I was awarded £35,000 because of the incorrect ways and the way they did the jobs, which was performed illegally. Officer Stephen Haynes, PC Jarvis and PC Warwick. One of them was suspended for 2 months with further investigation. One of them was fired and the other one was given a slap on the wrist and was allowed to still do the job, but under investigation by their own force.
That £35,000 payout says everything, not just about how much harm was done to Curnow, but also about how badly the officers messed up, because this wasn't just a tiny warning. It was a big legal smackdown, and courts don't hand out that kind of money unless rights were seriously broken, which this case proved. And the fact that one officer got fired, another was suspended for 2 months while they checked more, and a third was left under review even though he just got a light punishment shows. This wasn't some small mix-up, but a full-on failure by cops who either didn't know the law or didn't care. And from the very start they came in with a mix of arrogance and ignorance, treating a vague phone call like a big crime, and instead of acting professional, they went straight into demanding ID with no legal reason. And when Curnow stood firm using his rights, they cranked it up with force and detention, not because they were right, but because they hated being told no, and the male officers. Not your servant line summed up his inflated ego, while the female officers comment that things would have been smoother if Curnow just gave and only showed how little they understood civil rights. And that's not real policing. That's just pressure and control, and their illegal detention, abuse of powers, and even their desperate move to call back the original caller to justify themselves proved they had no proper process, because this was never about law. It was about control. And when they failed to twist the rules, they doubled down with more disrespect, even blaming Curnow for wasting time. But in the end, it was their actions that cost them big, both legally and in their careers. And the whole thing is a warning to any officer who thinks they can bluff the law, while also reminding the public to never be scared to stand up for your rights, because staying calm, knowing the law, And recording everything gave Colonel the power to bring real consequences to officers abusing authority. And it shows why accountability matters, and why your knowledge is the best shield against unlawful policing. And that's it for today's video. So if you like this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.